Hi, it's Jean again. Thanks for coming back to my channel. I'm actually outside in my front yard here in Northwest Florida. I was listening to John Tesh on the radio, and he said, natural light was the best light to take pictures or film in. And while the sun is illuminating me perfectly, I can't see crap. So I hope it works for you and that I look awesome. So anyway, so yeah, my laptop's on a stump in the woods in the front yard up here in Florida. Today was shorts weather. It's February 12th, 2015. I don't know where you are, but if you're freezing or there's snow, I've never really seen snow in my whole life. I'm kind of terrified of it, but I send you warm wishes and my love. So I hope that helps thaw you out a little bit. Just think of me in this warm, sunny, breezy shorts weather I'm at. I wanted to talk to you about acceptance. Someone asked me to do a video on acceptance, and I asked a few people what the word acceptance means to them. How do they feel when they hear this word? And I got some, don't sweat the small stuff, life is too short to worry or stress about insignificant small things, accept people for who they are, and not to judge or treat other people differently just because they are different. And I thought, well, yeah, you hear that a lot. That's common advice. But when I want to know something, I need to know how to do it. How do you accept someone? What steps do you take to make this something you can practice in reality? And a few things that I've learned how to do, and I'm going to tell you some of my former hang-ups as well and how I got over them. But it's to learn. Education. Ignorance may be bliss in some situations, like when you're not in the medical field and you don't know what a lot of diseases, symptoms, and signs of people dying are. That's bliss, because I really wish that I was still ignorant when I started taking medical training, because now I'm over it somewhat, but now I can look at people, and not because I'm only just because I'm an empath and a natural healer, but knowing what these things are called and how it ends up ultimately was kind of disturbing. But as far as your day-to-day relationships and having a good, happy, and peaceful life, acceptance, in my opinion, of course all of these videos are in my opinion, you're free to educate yourself however you want, is to be accepting. And a few of my hangups were, in my area, Latino or Hispanic men are very aggressive, and they treat females of any race as objects, and there's no respect whatsoever. So I have a fear or did have a fear still somewhat, and a very deep dislike and distrust of Latino males. It was Latino and Hispanic people in general, but mostly the males, because of what I observe in my area. So that was conditioned by, and this fear is conditioned by my experiences, which a lot of us are conditioned by our parents, our family, how we grew up, the area we grew up in. In your area, black people might be dangerous or perceived as dangerous. And I've met black people where they grew up, white people were dangerous, which is hilarious, because I mean, to me, I'm not dangerous at all. But I had a coworker who acted really strange in training, and I asked him later when he started to relax and I worked with him on a more day-to-day basis, why were you so squirrely in training? And he said, because I was surrounded by a bunch of white people, and where I'm from, you don't mix with white people. So I said, are you kidding me? So I'm dangerous? And he said, yeah, if we saw you coming down our street, we'd all go in our houses and hide, because you're white and you are dangerous in my area. So I mean, I've been through it all. I've been, people have had issues with me because I'm white, because I'm female, because I'm fat, because I'm short, because I'm intelligent, because I have a strong personality. And I've been told from Hispanic and people of color or black or African American or whatever term you're comfortable with, that I wouldn't understand because I'm white, or because I'm a woman, or because I'm, you're not Mexican, you wouldn't get it. So they feel like I'm not worth their time, or I'm less than. So having that done to me also helped me in the process of learning acceptance and how to treat people better, even though as a small child, and I've always been very open with everyone, and I've accepted everyone. And if you've known me through any period of my life, you would never know that I have distrust issues or issues with any type of people, because I never acted that way ever, and I never talked that way about others. As a matter of fact, I'd get my panties in a bunch excuse me, if I was around you and you degraded anybody for any reason, or animals for any reason. But, and how I got over this is it helps because I have two people, or family that's Mexican. Um, and I also have someone that I adore very much and I love very, very much, and I've known for many, many years, is Puerto Rican. I would guess my best friend, but uh, and in from learning Hispanic people personally, they say it is common in their culture for Hispanic males, not all, just in their experiences, to be that way in their culture also. So it's not just my area, from what I understand, it's just a cultural thing. Okay, so how I got over my fear of, like, I disliked skinny people because they were skinny and I didn't like myself, and I was jealous, and I thought, well, that life must be so much easier for them because they're thin, and I've always been heavy and I've always been bigger. And even at 10, I look like an adult. If there's pictures of me with the library helpers at 10 years old, and I look like the library lady. I am not kidding. It's child, little kid, me. Who's the library lady? That's not the library lady, that's me. I look like the adult. But it's getting to know people, asking questions. If you are afraid of, like, for instance, there are a few people, of neighbors and coworkers in my area, that were an amputee, or were missing a limb, or didn't have a developed limb for some reason. And one of my coworkers, as a CNA, actually had arm to where your elbow would start, and it was a little tiny baby hand, and that's as far as it went. And it had a baby hand that was non-functional; it was just there. And that didn't stop her from anything. She can do anything you can do, and probably even better. She kind of scared me a little bit, actually, because she was so efficient and everything, and made me feel kind of less than. And I asked her questions about it. I've always been that way. And and people that you see as different, or you're curious about, or you're afraid of, I've always been told, and they've always told me, I would prefer you ask me questions and have a conversation with me than to stare at me or make me feel weird or treat me different or treat me less than because I seem to be different. Same with me. I'm short, but I'm all boobs. I'm pretty much just a vessel transportation for tits. And I'm sorry if this offends anybody, but get over it. Stop, I say stuff like this in my videos all the time if you're new. And people stare at me and treat me weird because I have huge boobs. Yes, they're real. Yes, they're mine. I wish they weren't. But I prefer you to ask me questions if I look different, or, than just stare at me like I'm a freak. It makes me feel uncomfortable, and sometimes it offends me when people are like, what size are your boobs? Are those real? I'm like, that's kind of personal, but I'd rather you ask me and get along with it, and we can move past it, than you just, like this. And I would think, one of my answers is thinking, of course they are. Oh my God, why would I ever? But there are people in the world that really get them this big on purpose, and whatever, that's a whole different video. So if something or some type of group of people, maybe redheads, bother you, look them up. If you don't have internet connection, go to your local library. You can get free internet there, and you can Google it and look at YouTubes. Some people are against gay people. Some people are against black people. Some people are against white people. Some people don't trust redheads or freckled people. It's true, and honestly, somewhere in the world, I know it happens. Just Google it, and if you meet some of these people that intimidate you, ask questions. Don't be a dick like, hey, gay person, such and such, do you like it this way? Start a conversation. Like, if you come up to me and you're afraid of red-haired, freckled people, just talk to me. Say hi and say, I'm afraid of you, or I'm kind of intimidated of you because, or I've learned such and such this way. I want to get to know you and be educated so I can learn more and not be afraid. If you can't find Google or you can't watch YouTube, you can go to your local library and read about it. You can like I said, speak to people. And what's the biggest? And if they react rudely or they're aggressive to you, don't let that scare you even more and make it worse, because again, no matter who they are and what their difference is, there are assholes of every kind and every shade and every shape, and don't let one asshole ruin your advancement and your knowledge. So, and I would speak to people that were amputees because I'm curious and I'm nosy, I guess you would call it, but I want to learn what happened and how do you function with this. And some people are very touchy about it and they're very sensitive because how it happens. Some people are born that way and they don't care because they're used to it. But once you get over that initial shock, they're really, people are really cool if you get to know them now. And I'm kind of timid, believe it or not, in person. Like when I think a guy is good looking, I'm petrified. But sometimes I'm like, hey, you know. And I've met some really cool people just being curious and wanting to learn the differences. And honestly, on the inside, there's really no difference. No matter what your skin color is or what your ability or disability or what disease, we all bleed red. We all feel emotions. We all have sadness, happiness, pain, disappointment. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be loved. We all need to be provided for somehow. We need shelter. We need food. We need care. And, we're all really the same inside. So I'm encouraging you to learn. We are not different people or not your enemy. Your ignorance is your enemy, and that can be your downfall. So acceptance to me means learning and being educated about things that might scare you or you do not feel comfortable with. You get what I'm saying? Because I know a few people that don't like gay people. They think it's against God, it's an abomination, etc. Blah blah blah. I don't care who you are. I love you regardless. But those same people who also didn't accept me because I'm different, once they got to know me and they became friends with gay people, we're all really close and there's really no difference, honestly. Just our shell is a little different. So what? Who cares? But we're all beautiful on the inside. Eventually you can get through it. Now, if they're an asshole, just move on. Please don't waste your time on assholes of any kind. I love you so much. Thank you for watching. Please share this video. Go to my YouTube channel. It's yinmoon1/videos. Or you can come to my group and start a discussion or a conversation with us. And it's facebook.com/groups/ask Jean. And I am Jean's Pet Rock on Twitter. Thank you. Bye.